What's happening there, Reject Nation? We are going to watch today from new Rockstars Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, Tobey and Andrew removals confirmed from within the trailer. Sorry for sounding a little bit sort of throaty and congested. That's just the way it is today, guys. But hey, I wanted to do a quick reminder. EpicHeroShop.com, where I got this Vision-inspired shirt. You got that Loki shirt. I got a green one of that. We also got an awesome Mobius and Mobius shirt. Basically, our most comfortable Marvel shirts and coolest looking Marvel shirts. EpicHeroShop.com, where you've probably heard is in association with New Rockstars. They're having a special sale Monday, November 22nd through the 29th, 15% off at minimum, and they're bringing back some designs as well. You best bet that we already are planning on buying a good amount. You'll be seeing us rock a lot of Epic Hero Shop throughout the rest of the year and next year, because the year's almost over. Anywho, let's watch this.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and Spider-Man No Way Home's newest trailer confirms a bit about this movie's surprise cameos, but in one big case, an even bigger secret, completely by accident, it looks like. By now, you may have seen a Brazilian version of the trailer in which, as Electro, Sandman, and the Lizard leap across the scaffolding towards Spider-Man in the movie's apparent final battle, Lizard dives like he's in a World Cup semifinal. Yeah, it's a bizarre recoil.
So many times now.
By some invisible object that can only be explained by Ant-Man, by Papa Feige sniping him for spoilers, or most likely the presence of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in this shot, but scrubbed from the trailer footage.
Are you sure about that? And his name is John C.
It makes sense. 3 versus 3 would be much better composition than 1 versus 3. Lizard is clearly jumping towards something in a different spot than Tom Holland's Peter Parker is.
I mean, that's the thing about this shot right away, is that even if you didn't see the Brazil one with the weird head contortion moment from Lizard, you get so swept up in the shot of seeing Spider-Man charging after Electro, Sandman, and Lizard. But when you take a second to just look at the shot alone, even without the head movement, it's a weird shot. Where are they all charging towards? And Lizard doesn't even look like he's looking up at Spider-Man or aiming towards him. Yeah. So clearly something's removed, even prior to the whole. It's already kind of a strange shot when you think about it.
Well, yeah, and what's Peter jumping towards exactly, other than just kind of all of it?
Yeah, just I'm gonna go hit Sandman. Let's try it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I found even more visual evidence that more things were removed from this moment of the trailer. So Tobey and Andrew's existence in this movie, while still not confirmed by the filmmakers, it's just a foregone conclusion in the minds of most fans. So at this point, I am honestly less excited by their mere possible presence in this film than I now am by why they are actually in this movie and what that tells us about the broadening multiverse going forward. But let's start with a closer look at the shot in question. Peter leaps from the head of the Statue of Liberty toward Electro, Sandman, and Lizard, who attack from the surrounding scaffolding. Peter seems to be aiming directly for Sandman, while Sandman hooks his fist around from Peter's left, which tracks with the next shot of Peter dodging that sand fist and then barrel rolling over it before he dives. But not only does the Lizard recoil from some invisible hit in the Brazilian trailer, Lizard is lined up to strike someone in a completely different spot than Peter is. But also, so is Electro. Go through this frame by frame.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see Electro is also pulling back his arm for a strike against someone who is above where Peter is. And then when Peter does that dive in that shot, you can see Electro still above, continuing to engage someone else with an electric blast.
Oh, no way.
Wow. Man, I gotta give credit, man. I didn't even notice anything about Electro pulling his arm back and charging when clearly the evidence is right there. Because we all got so focused on Lizard, and it's pretty obvious that Spidey's headed towards Sandman, but the whole thing with Electro, all that just flew over my head. Honestly, I didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, and him above too, attacking somebody who's not the Peter in the foreground coming towards us. Now I just wonder why Tobey Maguire would be fighting that Electro other than circumstance.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably more personal for Andrew to go after Lizard, considering the relationship that formed in Amazing Spider-Man. And we already had Tobey fight against Sandman, and we haven't had Tobey fight against Electro yet. But also, as found the trailer, this could just be manipulation for the trailer to look like Electro was fighting Doc Ock. So maybe Doc Ock is back on Tobey's side, so that's why he's going after Electro.
Could be.
That's just a thought.
In the shot of Peter leaping off the Statue of Liberty head, if you look to the region to the right of Peter, there is definitely an upward moving smoky motion blur on the background rim of that giant cap shield, as if something was here leaping out of frame, removed, and when they had to pencil back in what was behind it, some of the motion blur stayed. Also, this one's a bit harder to see, but over on the left side of the same shot, a similar motion blur seems to be distorting the tip of Lady Liberty's spiky
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Things leaping upward
Damn,
right
boss.
before Tom Holland Peter Parker does. Now, I thought this was just digital noise, but the distortion does not appear on any other regions of the frame or on the shot before this of Peter landing on the statue head, which you'll notice does cut to black as if to mask two other figures landing on either side of Peter right after he lands, who would then leap off right before he leaps.
I mean, yeah, I think you're right about that. I mean, if you just even look at the shot,
The visual language, yeah.
the visual language of where the shot is, of where he's landing, it would be perfect symmetry for one to be over there and another one to be over there. Oh, that's gonna be such a cool shot. I hope he's right. I hope he's right. I really hope he's right.
Now, when you go back to the wide collision shot, everything in frame is moving with debris, lightning, sand. You can't really discern any extraordinary motion blur, except there is a subtle, odd downward sweep of Sandman's sand in the bottom of the frame, like someone wafted it downward in that blank region that the lizard is approaching. Now, there's also this random detail a lot of you keep asking me about, this brown shape that's hanging from the scaffolding to the left of Ned as MJ falls. Some say this could be an arm of some Peter Parker that wasn't fully erased. To be honest, I don't see how this is an arm. It looks like a bundle of rope to me. And like if a VFX artist goes to the effort to erase an
I can see that.
get tired halfway through and then decide to recolor it brown. So I don't know what this is. I just don't think it's another Spider-Man though.
Yeah, we did. We were one of the people who said that during your breakdown.
Where is it, Ross?
How did you talk about this? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess a bundle of rope, but it definitely looks like they tried compositing out stuff from it, doesn't it? Like, what's the space in between right here? What's this space? It's just a rope that's, like, how is it hanging up? Looks like there's still something grabbing onto something here.
I mean, yeah, it looks like at the bottom it comes into finger points or something like that. Like now that he's pointed it out, it kind of looks like a rope, but then yeah, the bit above it that's on the little, clasp point like that, can't tell what that would be. I'm torn now because I'm like, yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be a pretty glaring thing for an animator to be like, I got most of the way there, let me just paint over this brown and call it a day.
But I think also contextually, that was also the thing I was making fun of a lot during our live stream, is if it is an arm, why would that Spider-Man just be chilling there while this situation with Ned and MJ going over the railing is going on?
Yeah, I was like, why wouldn't he care at all about that?
Because story-wise, it makes no sense why that Spider-Man's not doing anything. And just from an editing standpoint, I could tell from the audio that this is an insert that you had to do later in post after filming the original video for this. I'm just pointing that out. I noticed these things.
Don't think it's another Spider-Man though. Now, 2 months ago, after Andrew Garfield discussed some rumored set leaks from No Way Home on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, we here at New Rockstars did a VFX analysis on some online claims over whether or not the set footage of Garfield was doctored. Now, I won't show that full footage here, but I will tell you, it does seem to match the scaffolding that surrounds the Statue of Liberty in this trailer. But beyond the visuals of this scene, there are some contextual clues in the trailer that help us understand why Tobey and Andrew would even show up in this movie. Obviously, MJ falls from the scaffolding in slow motion that closely mirrors Gwen Stacy's death drop in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And while the trailer very clearly makes it seem like it's Tom Holland in his new Spidey suit reaching out for MJ here, it also does read like a chance for Andrew Garfield to redeem himself by saving MJ. And if they could scrub and swap out other stuff in this trailer, it's not too hard to imagine a different Spider-Man hand reaching down in the theatrical version. Also, there's a line where Doc Ock sees Tom Holland's face and says, "You're not Peter Parker," reminding us that some Tobey Maguire Peter Parker exists somewhere in this merged Spider-Verse. Also, Peter mentions his spider bite to MJ. Not that big of a deal, but it is something that has only come up once in the MCU before this. This line could be setting up this Peter finally detailing his superhero origin in No No Way Home, which could come in the form of a conversation with other Peter Parkers whose varying bites, Uncle Ben deaths, and web shooting abilities are something we're all eager for them to compare notes on.
I want them to compare notes on who had the worst death with Uncle Ben. That's what I want them to do. That's the main thing I want them to talk about is Uncle Ben. It would be nice to get Tom Holland to actually speak about it. Even at the event that he did with Coy, he did say, one lesson I hope that audiences have a takeaway with, as his portrayal of Spider-Man is, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm like, you're quoting the Uncle Ben. Maybe you will actually talk about Uncle Ben this time around.
I mean, it would be such a touching scene to have all three of them meet on that point and, you know, share that together or at least talk about it a little bit.
Ultimately, I think this could tell us why alternate Peters could be so important to cross over into the MCU. Not just to blow our minds, it's gonna do that, but Peter needs to learn from other versions of himself that it is impossible to have it all. Something Tobey Maguire Peter learned in his movies, and that sometimes you might be unable to save someone you love, which Andrew Garfield Peter Parker learned in his movie. I mean, the fact that this battle restages Gwen Stacy's death drop with MJ hints that a key mechanism for Andrew and Tobey's returns will be to give these past Peter Parkers one last chance to redeem their biggest mistakes. For Andrew Peter, that was letting Gwen die, obviously, and for Tobey Peter, that was letting his mentors die, lying to his best friend, letting vengeance open him up to toxic influences, and turning his Mary Jane against him. While MJ forgave Peter in that final scene, they don't kiss, they don't get engaged. It's really a muddy, we're still working through this kind of ending. One of the reasons I think Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 is super underappreciated and a potential mixed bag of a future for that version of Peter Parker that this movie could revisit. Like, imagine Tobey Maguire Peter Parker never truly fixed things with MJ, and he now counsels Tom Holland Peter Parker, a younger Peter, to just retire early, enjoy a normal college life, despite that pretty crappy advice Mr. Stark gave you in Civil War. When bad things happen, they don't always happen because of you, kid. You deserve your own life.
I don't think Tobey Maguire's going to be telling them that, especially because Tobey Maguire is clearly going to be in a Spider-Man outfit at his age. Older than Tom Holland. Just saying retire early and be like, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it from me, who's still doing it. Don't do it.
Unless they want to ruin a legacy character and be like, yeah, I'm still Spider-Man, but it sucks. I don't have Mary Jane anymore.
I feel like they would have to split the difference and he would have to give him some kind of advice on the balance, the core Spider-Man conflict, how to balance the two, not just, give it up like Spider-Man 2.
So while many of us are expecting to hear the line, with great power comes great responsibility in No Way Home, it wouldn't surprise me to hear Tobey Maguire Peter Parker offer a more evolved take on that famous adage that only an experienced Spider-Man could speak with authority on.
Oh, I have it just for you. I know exactly what he's going to say. What Tobey's going to say, a more enhanced version, just like you were saying, is, you were a lot like your father. You really are, Peter, and that's a good thing. But your father, by a philosophy, a principle, really, he believed that if you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things. That's what's at stake here, not choice, responsibility. And then Andrew's going to be like, I remember my Uncle Ben once said that to me, but I was just kind of rephrasing it in my head going, you could have made this shorter, which is say, with great power comes great responsibility, Uncle Ben.
Our greatest responsibility is knowing when to give up that power. So this idea of learning from the past, one universe building on the knowledge gained from other universes, I think that's gonna be the driving theme as the MCU expands into a multiverse of cooperative cross-universe team-ups like the Spider-Verse, like the Captain Britain Corps, like the Fantastic Four, arguably what Kang has already accomplished with the Council of Kangs. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me at EA Boss, follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis and breakdowns of everything Spider-Man related. Thanks for watching, bye.
I hope one lesson that they all learn from each other from learning from the past is, guys, we shouldn't introduce so many main characters and so many villains in one Spider-Man movie.
They'll never learn that lesson ever.
Well, that's what they say to each other in this film.
It's crowded, isn't it? It sure is. I've been there, me too.
In my past, in my universe, we also had a lot of main characters and villains, and people thought it was overpopulated. That's going to work out great here. It's another weird feeling. You feel like it's just going to click here. All right, guys, subscribe, click that bell, hit that like button, check out EpicHeroShop.com next week. We'll catch you guys soon.